Alright, so The Bad Batch Season 2 Episode 5 is now out. In this video, we're going to be breaking down the new episode, talking about all the Star Wars Easter eggs in it, and the hidden details you might have missed in the 20-minute entry. There's clear allusions to Indiana Jones, The Fifth Element, and even a bit of Horizon Zero Dawn, I think, and I can't wait to get into it. First though, blah blah blah, thumbs up, blah blah blah. With that out of the way, I'm your host Paul, aka Benedict Cumberbatch. Now let's get into the video. Now the episode is called Entombed, and we start off very much in the same way that we end. We catch the Bad Batch in a junkyard, which is later mirrored by the destruction that we see in the final few scenes. Here we catch Omega and Wrecker hunting for parts, which is when she comes across a dial that works as a compass. This ends up being similar to a Sith Wayfinder, which we saw Kylo using at the start of Rise of Skywalker, which we don't talk about. Now you might notice that Wrecker even has more colour in his uniform this episode, and it shows how they're slowly diverting from the Imperial mentality. I've discussed this in our other videos, and the Empire very much have the colour dialed down to being grey, black and white. Even Commander Cody, who donned orange in the movies, has had his stuff scaled back to being grey, whereas the Bad Batch have gained more colour. This shows how they're breaking free and becoming more rebellious, refusing to conform to the lack of diversity in the Empire's uniforms. Now they also get a compressor, and this looks like it's from an ATR-6 assault transport. From here we cut to Sid's parlour to catch Wanda Sykes' fee Genoa. Noah? Of course I don't know her, I just met her. Now she's spinning a yarn to the Weequay and Ithorian, who I only learned last week are actually called Ketch and Bolo. This idea of going off on a wild story is very much built into Fee's character, and come the end of the episode we see her back to her old tricks, doing the same thing to Omega. We learn she's a pirate that refers to herself as a treasure hunter, and this is very much mirrored in Dr. Aphra. Aphra made her debut in the Darth Vader comics, and she's often described as being Star Wars' answer to Indiana Jones. She tells them a story about an octomorph pulling her down, and the way it's described makes it sound like an offshoot species of a Dianoga. These giant sea spiders grabbed Luke in A New Hope, and you even fought one in Shadows of the Empire. She talks about how she managed to get a pearl from one, and these being inside creatures is something that we've also seen in the case of Krayt dragons. They have them inside their stomachs, and at the end of the first episode of The Mandalorian Season 2, we saw one being fished out. After piling the scraps on the holodeck, we hear they've got a regulator, which was a component in Star Wars that was used on jetpacks. However, what catches V's eyes is of course the compass. Devices like these are of course used throughout fiction, and they're often put in place to help to progress the story. We've seen it in the aforementioned Wayfinder, and also the way this device works reminds me a lot of the one from Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's spherical, and once the droid shines a light through it, it reveals certain aspects like the Staff of Ra. C-3PO and R2-D2 even appeared in wall markings in the movie, showing how it's all connected. Fee says it's from the Kaldor trinary system, which is off the map. She says the best treasures usually aren't found on them, and if you cast your mind back to Attack of the Clones, then you'll remember that Kamino was removed from the Jedi archives. This is where the clones were from, making them the best treasures, and it's sort of like poetry they rhyme. Now a trinary system likely means three suns, and in A New Hope we saw how Tatooine was located in a binary one. They touch down and we can see that the land has been razed and that it's now completely uninhabitable. Scorch marks line the ground, and these foreshadow the destructive power that we'll see unleashed later on. Upon arriving there, the compass activates and it starts to lead the way back to the big giraffe horse thingy. A huge shoutouts to our editor Matt for pointing out that the planet is very menacing and echoes Dathomir, which we explored heavily in Fallen Order. The markings on the tree and overall eeriness mirror that, with there being potential threats around every corner. The episode also pulls heavily from the puzzles in that game, namely the ones that you ran into on Zepho and Ilium. Weirdly, I was watching The Fifth Element the other night, and the stones in that all had line markings on them to denote what it required to activate. These two appear on the handles, poking out the wall, and it might not be intentional, but it's just something I noticed. Because I've been watching Ruby Rod. My man Ruby Rod! Come in, my man! Come in, my man! Now, dating back thousands of years ago, this machine predates the Jedi, possibly being around the time of the Jedi. This was the order that preceded them, and its ancient technology was lost to time. It may be before that, but they delved deeper into the heart of the mountain, with the music even riffing on John Williams' original Raider score. He of course also composed the music for Star Wars, so his music lends itself very nicely to this scene. The whole place is booby-trapped, and they get stuck inside before Omega busts out the compass to allow them to go further. As they venture in, they're attacked by giant underworld creatures who live in the caverns and stalk the landscape outside. Kinda reminded me of the spiders from Lost in Space, which Sorry for reminding you that that movie exists, I apologise. Now the tunnels themselves are also similar to the caverns in Pitch Black and Aliens, with these creatures moving in the shadows and chasing them through. In a nod to The Last Crusade, we see Hunter making his way across a tiled floor, and this collapse is similar to the way it did in the movie. This was then later adapted into the Tomb Raider games, and it's become a staple of treasure hunting films if you ever watch any of them. The episode isn't too full of Easter eggs in all honesty, and the ones I've mentioned before might not even be intentional, but bits like this are of course playing on the cliches that always pop up in those films. Either way, they have to place the compass into the wall in order to guide the way forward. They then come upon the center, and this activates upon Fee removing the central idol. Again, Indiana Jones Easter eggs in the place, with treasures being removed as what often causes things to start up. Here though, we see a death machine starting to walk across the land. When the machine rose up and blasted its horn, it reminded me a lot of the War of the Worlds, especially because of the fact it was buried underground for thousands and thousands of years. The idea of destroying landscapes is something that's also been laced throughout the season too, with us learning it happened on Dooku's home, and the Empire were threatening to do it to Desix. They've already done it on Kamino too, and these attacks foreshadow the Death Star. Seeing this destroy the planet so easily, it actually makes me wonder if the Empire might even come across the machine, and then use it as a way to harness the power from it. It's a long shot, but seeing this constant repetition of the land being destroyed makes me think they're foreshadowing the Death Star. Anyway, rest in peace little Mel, we barely knew thee. Now Fee does say that Mel's data banks are stored on the ship and that they can be fixed up, so I've no doubt that we'll see the little guy back. Fee and the gang fight the creature inside to place the treasure back, and in doing so it manages to destroy the machine. In an Uncharted-esque ending, they don't get any treasure, but they do make some friends along the way, which is the most important lesson. Working with Fee has left them 0-2 so far, but they've discovered the legend was real, so well, we had a good time I guess. Now Hunter says it's good that no one can ever activate the machine, but I guess we're gonna see, cause I'm thinking they might do some stuff with the Death Star here. Anyway, Fee starts talking about a special chalice, possibly giving a nod to the golden one that Indy discovers when looking for the Holy Grail. We'll not get into that though, and what we will get into is my thoughts on the episode, and again, you know, this was a really solid one. I know it's not the overarching story, it's not 10 out of 10, but yeah, I just like these nice little breaks that let us explore the galaxy and get to know what the characters are like. Nice just spending some time with Fee, and also, just a nice little cool treasure hunting adventure. Anyway, and of course, it's not going to reinvent the wheel, is it? It's been done thousands of times before, but you know, for a Wednesday morning, I'm having fun, so shoot me. Now, I'd of course love to hear your thoughts on the episode, so make sure you comment below and let me know. We are in a competition right now and giving away Wakanda Forever to 3 subscribers on the 15th of February, and all you have to do to be with the chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on the episode. We pick the comments at random on the 15th, and the winners of the last one are on screen right now, so if that's you, then message me on Twitter at HeavySpoilers. If you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out our breakdown of The Last of Us, which will be linked on screen right now. Lots of cool things to talk about in it, and hopefully I'll see you over there right after this. Out of the way, thanks for sitting through the video, I've been Paul, I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.